It's become a bit of a pilgrimage. This, travelling to Scotland every September, except that for next year, we'll be travelling in June. I'll tell you more about that later on. But here we are once more in Scotland for our Scottish Photowalk Retreat special. You'll be hearing across this show two sets of guests from week 1 and week 2 as we traverse the wonders that are the Scottish Photowalk Retreat. We'll be in the darkroom, we'll be making film photographs, we'll visit the beautiful Loch Maree. It's all coming up in today's special.
Yes, welcome along as the 11th guest alongside Sarah, Michael, Victoria, 2 Dans, Geraldine, Kelly, Keith, David and Karen. And then, of course, our Lynn Fraser, who works tirelessly on this retreat each year, Merryn Glover, the author, and Matt Sillers from the Inverness Darkroom. I'll be playing back excerpts from our walks, from our chats, from the time in the darkroom and our writing experience. And hopefully, if it's safe to do so, and you close your eyes right now, you'll feel you're with us on this show today. We'll be walking the Black Water as well as visiting local woodland to our base close to Inverness in the Highlands. We'll get a little windswept at Glen Affric, visit the Pirates' Graveyard, although spoiler alert, it isn't really, at Cromarty, and of course end our week in the most wonderful loch we visit every year, for very good reason, the beautiful Loch Maree. And if after all this you think, hold on, I wish I'd have been there, well, you can, only next year in June. And as always, we only start with 5 places, 2 of which I think may have gone before I even launched the page. Maybe we'll need a second week, but hey, let's not get ahead of ourselves. There's some walking to be done, though we'll start by welcoming to the bunkhouse Matt Sillers, who arrives on day 1 with some film cameras that we'll be using to make pictures that become prints on day 2. Matt, now don't be shy, even though some of us have and do use them still. Let's go right back to basics, please.
So these are called 35mm single lens reflex cameras. 35mm meaning the film size it takes, and SLR, single lens reflex, means 2 things. The first thing is that when you look through the viewfinder, you're looking out of the lens. And this was a departure in photography when these were invented, because prior to that, the most kind of common type of camera was a twin lens camera, which had a viewing lens and a taking lens, or a rangefinder type camera, which had a viewing lens and a taking lens. Now that creates something called parallax error when you move in close to something. So if that's the taking lens and that's the viewing lens, as I view the object, the taking lens is missing it. So there's an error really there. And in quite a lot of rangefinder cameras, you'll find in the inside of the viewfinder a wee kind of calibration index where you can adjust the point so that you know what you're shooting will actually have the object in the frame. But they invented the single lens reflex camera, which is a what you see is what you get camera. So when you look through it, you're looking out here, so there is no parallax error. But the problem, of course, then is light has to come in the lens and go to the eye, not the film. So we have to get light to the film, and we do that with a mirror. So these are not mirrorless cameras, these are cameras with a mirror in them. And the word reflex, I'm not sure if this is true or not, but I think it comes from the old classic knee reflex, where if you hit your knee, your leg jerks up, because the mirror in here is designed to move. And we'll have a look at that movement. So the kind of a reflex action is what I call it. But it might have a different genesis. So no doubt you can have a podcast specially about why a mirror is called the reflex. I was asking if anybody is left-handed, and nobody is in this group, which is very useful because these types of cameras are right-handed tools. A lot of Canon cameras of this vintage were both left and right-handed. They had buttons on both sides, slightly different places, but it meant a left-handed person could work them more easily. But these are right-handed, so what I want you to do is hold your hand like that and put the camera on your hand like that. Turn it, that's it, yeah, that's it. Now, holding the camera like that, you'll find that your fingers come up the lens. You can work the aperture control, you can work the zoom ring, you can work the focusing control. If you bring your right hand onto the camera, you'll find that you've got the wind on lever, you've got the shutter release, and you can actually spin the shutter dial with your finger. You can move that really easily. Okay. The only control you've got on the left-hand side of the top plate is the one for opening the back of the camera to take the film in and out.
And so Matt expertly takes us through the complexities and the simplicity. Now there's a juxtaposition of working with 35mm film cameras in time for tomorrow's photo walk around the beautiful Blackwater, an outstanding area perfect for testing our film prowess, which you'll hear soon. First up, we need to load some film and then pop outside for a quick lesson in reading the light. If Sunny 16 means nothing to you, listen on.
Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to take the film out of the wee container and we're going to pop it into the hole here, the gap here. So if you open the back of your camera and then take the film out of the wee black case, but just don't play with the top. Now it goes pointy bit down the way, and you'll see if you put pointy bit down the way and you look in what now is the top, you'll see that there's a wee bar, and you'll notice that the bit you've pulled up has got a forked end, and that forked end connects into that bar, you see, okay? So just slot the film in, just plonk it in there, and then don't do anything else. Then look at me. Lynn's camera's going to go mental because yours does the auto loading, so you have to not do what I'm doing. We'll have to do something different with you. Now, beginners in film photography learn very quickly that the manufacturers of film give you lots of film to get it loaded. And they realise that they can squeeze extra frames onto a roll. So a 36 exposure, they might get 38, 39 if they're just very, delicate with putting it in. But what happens normally is that the film won't connect properly, so it won't actually go through the camera. It's fallen off. And that only happens at someone's wedding. Things like that happening. In film photography, we have to be very aware of the light changing because we can't chimp. We can't look at the back of the camera and see quickly, did we get a photograph? Oh, I better just change my aperture settings. We can't see that, so we've got to be more aware of light and what we're doing with it. So if you have a look at the ground here, you can see this is very light. And black and white photography is about shades of grey. So we're going from light tones to dark tones with a range of tones in between, a range of greys. The stones here would record as a light grey. The roof of the building there would be a kind of a slightly darker tone. I'm looking for deeper tones. The shadow at the end there, that would be a darker tone. But what we need to do is we need to point the camera and get a light reading at something that's a mid-grey. So if we set the light meter for a mid-grey, anything dark in the scene will record as dark, anything light in the scene will record as light. But light meters are designed for complex areas. So if you look over behind you here, you can see there's a dark roof, there's a white bit of the building, there's green of the tree, there's the blue there, which would be quite dark, but there's the light stones at the bottom. So if I pointed my camera there, the light meter would average out all of these different areas, and it would give us a midpoint. We then set the camera for that. The dark areas will underexpose and look dark, the light areas will overexpose and look right. But if we were to photograph the stones at our feet, that's not a complex scene. That's a simple scene that's only got one really tone there. And the light meter, it doesn't know it's a simple scene. It thinks it's still a complex scene, so it will try and average it out. So if we were to photograph the black tyres of the car, if we were in really close because we're looking to photograph the tread, the light meter would try and adjust our camera so that the black turns out a mid-grey. So you would get a disappointing photograph. Right. So what you have to learn to do is look around and set the camera on what is a mid-grey, reframe to the black tyres, The light meter will go crazy, but you ignore it. You take your photograph and the black tyres will look black. So learning how to make the light meter work for you is really important. Now, an average mid-grey is grass. So I would point the camera over at that grass area there. I would take my meter reading from there, get my camera set up, and then if the light doesn't change, if I don't feel that change in the light from the cloud cover coming in, I can just leave it on that setting.
So, film loaded, and now all experts in light, obviously. We leave after lunch for a location called the Blackwater. It's a wondrous Highland river, stained tea dark by peat. Once paused at by drovers and later by Victorian visitors who came to watch salmon leap the falls, apparently. It's a gift for a camera, pale birch against dark water, Scots pine along the banks, spray catching the light, and long exposures that turn the rush into silk while the glen holds its breath. That is, if you remember to bring all the right kit with you. There's irony. If you heard yesterday's reflection on the Patreon channel about packing kit and being organised.
There's always something I forget. Well, there's two things actually. It was a note to self that I'd left to myself but really hadn't written it down well enough. I can see you looking at me over your eyebrows as I say that. One was a tripod. So if you want to do any form of long exposure photography, a tripod is reasonably important. Although you can always find a rock to lean on, as I have. I'm very close to the water's edge now, and there's a waterfall dead ahead. It's not a large waterfall, but there's a reasonable amount of water travelling through it, and I want to capture that. Now, the second thing I said I would do is bring another filter, another ND filter, to put in front of my camera. Now, I'm using the X100V, which I know landscape photographers would look at and say, what are you doing? But I find it such a versatile travel camera that it's perfect for me, and it has an internal ND filter. Digital, granted, but very, very good. So I'm able to employ that and get my shutter speed down to an 1/8. I'm on f/16, and the lowest ISO I can manage is 160. But I could do really with a slightly slower shutter speed still. However, the ND filter, even in bright sunshine, has given me enough latitude to make this picture. So I'm going to try for one. So I'm leaning, I've got the camera on rock. So there we go, there's a tripod. I'm right by the water's edge. 160 ISO, f/16, 1/8 of a second for shutter speed, and hold your breath. I think that may have done it. I don't think it's going to win me Landscape Photographer of the Year, but as far as a memory of this wonderful place, it'll do for me, definitely. A bit away from the water gives me a chance to talk with Dan. What a wonderful place this is.
It's fantastic.
It is lovely, isn't it? Absolutely beautiful.
So peaceful and serene, yes.
Yeah. Now, Dan, this has absolutely nothing to do with this majestic place called the Blackwater. And I'm not sure if you're able to tell the story the second time as well as the first time. Because I know when I try to, it's never quite the same second time. But it's photographic related, in a sense.
Well, it's wedding related.
Well, it's wedding related, but we're not a wedding photography podcast, but I just happen to shoot weddings. Let's get down these steps, and then I'm going to ask you to recount that wonderful story. I think maybe only photographers have the gall to do this. Although you weren't trying to pass yourself off as the wedding photographer.
No, I wasn't.
No.
Just an uninvited guest, a wedding crasher, as it were. So my wife and I, Barbara, were spending a lovely weekend at the Mount Washington Hotel. up in the White
Is that a
Mountains.
posh place?
It's a quite a posh place.
Okay.
It's an old hotel, and it's painted all white with red metal roof.
Okay.
Quite stunning, and it lies just in front of the mountains. And so we were there one summer weekend, and after dinner, I went out to enjoy a scotch and a cigar on this huge wraparound porch that they have.
Yeah.
And there's a designated area for smoking, which happened to be right out in front of the doors leading into a reception hall. And there was a wedding going on. And so I was standing out there and chatting with some of the wedding guests who came out to have a cigarette, and over the course of about 20 or 30 minutes, asking them all sorts of questions about the bride and the groom and whatnot. Then I decided I'd gotten awfully dry from talking to all these guests, so I went in to get myself another scotch at their bar.
At their bar?
At their bar, yes.
The free bar, I assume.
The free bar, yes. Open bar. So came back out, and I stood around for another 20 or 30 minutes talking to more guests and asking them all sorts of questions about the bride and the groom, how they knew them, just making casual conversation. And my drink ran dry yet again. And so I thought, it's awfully cheeky of me to be...
So now you're going in for your third scotch?
Yes.
Right. From the free bar?
Well,
The open bar?
I paid for the first one after dinner. Yes.
Well, it's awfully good of you.
Yes, I thought so. And so this is going to be my second free bar drink. But I thought that was a little presumptuous of me without giving something back in return. So before I made my way to the bar, I had a dance with the bride.
You what? I know I've heard this story, but I still can't believe you did. What did Barb say?
She was very surprised.
Yeah.
Perhaps a little embarrassed.
Right.
But and
As she edged back out.
she stayed out on the porch the entire time. And anyway, so I'm dancing with the bride, and she's asking who it is that I know.
Right.
And I essentially told her that I was with one of her sorority sisters. So the dance was over. I thanked her, wished her well, and made my way to the bar for another scotch. Then my wife had enough. I couldn't push my luck for a third freebie.
One of the wedding crashers I met claimed to be my assistant. That was well before COVID. It was 3 or 4 years before COVID. Somebody turned up at a wedding venue I work at quite a lot called Wasing Park. It was a summer's evening. I was out photographing, and they'd been there a fair while. I'd seen them with their camera. I hadn't really thought twice about it because you see people with cameras all the time.
Yes.
But it was only when one of the groomsmen said to me, "Oh, your assistant's over there." And I said,
was up.
"I don't have an assistant."
Did you see him again?
No. Bare cheek of some people.
Yes.
Eh? This is beautiful. Look at this. Look at the dappled light coming through the forest there. That says, take a photograph to me.
Different shades of green that are is coming alive with the sunlight.
You tour quite a lot, don't you? Your passport's fairly well stamped. Have you been to Scotland before?
I think this is our 5th or 6th journey to Scotland, so we've been here. Barb has family here, so we always get to spend some time with family.
Yeah.
But then we always get out and love the Highlands, and we've been to a few of the Hebridean Islands, and they're beautiful, yes. It's a sort of toss-up between the beauty of the landscape and the beauty of the whiskey that brings me back.
I can see how your mind is wired. We don't have any scotch back at base. Perhaps you and I should put that right. Should we go to a wedding tonight?
Why not? I haven't got a suit.
We'll go as the worst dressed guests.
There you are.
Oh, look, we've got enough cameras between us. We can be the assistants.
There you go.
Yeah.
I like that idea.
Oh, right, I'm going to make a picture. I think we're stealing each other's shot here. There's no such thing as a stolen shot. You'll always see it in a different way. Fantastic. Returning to walk with us for a second year is Vicky. It's lovely to see you again, Vicky. I'm so pleased you came back.
And we're here again on just another wonderful day on the Blackwater.
The sun always shines here. I think there's a microclimate.
Yeah, it's absolutely gorgeous location, and I've been rather hooked on the rock features a bit further up in the rapids. But yeah, we're now walking through the most gorgeous pine forest.
Smell, breathe in, smell in rather, breathe in, sniff in, whatever Can you smell it?
Oh, yeah, isn't trees supposed to give off these? Really?
Normally after rainfall it would be better, wouldn't it? Of course, but you love geology. Geology is, I honestly, Vicky, you were just by the water really, photographing the rocks and the formations.
Because I think there's something, for me, elemental about being able to stand on rocks that are hundreds, millions, even years old. You get them particularly in Scotland. There's an amazing variety, and some of the heat and pressure that they've gone through to be formed in the way they are now, and they're on the surface and you can see them. You can get a really fascinating insight into Earth's history long time ago. It puts life into perspective.
I've never thought of the narrative of rocks in that way, that you're standing on something that you're thinking, well, how many millions of years ago would it have been that they would have been formed?
Well, I need to look up the Blackwater. I think these are a bit younger. But if you go out to the Outer Hebrides, so I was on Iona. I was lucky enough to get to Iona, and they've got Louisian gneiss, which is like 2.65 billion years old rocks that you can actually physically touch. And they're on the basement of a lot of these rocks that we're walking on top of here, but they're just thinking about the environment that they were formed in. And I've been reading a book on the way up where there's a walk on the west coast that takes you round to, and you can see stromatolites, and you can see those in Australia, but that's when the first bacteria started to form. And that's really, you can see the origins of life.
How can you see that on a rock?
Because they built up layers on the rock and then solidified and were compacted when other rocks formed on top of them. And then it's all been then eroded, and you can then see these, and they're harder. They're a hard cap, effectively, and resistant to erosion, and that's why you can see them. I say west coast of Scotland, Coya. I'm probably pronouncing it the wrong way. Lynn will be able to say on the west coast, and then Australia has got some famous examples. There's fascinating environmental history in our rocks.
A friend of ours who is a geologist, and I've clearly not been listening to well enough. He did his degree in geology. Often talks about how these huge rock formations would tip onto their side. And I think that's what forms a lot of the colours, for example, in the Isle of Wight.
Yes, because you've got minerals that are being compressed and metamorphosed into different forms. And you get in these Louisian gneiss I was talking about, there's some amazing banding because they have been subject to their own pressures when plate tectonics you learn at school nowadays, when you've got the plates moving or clashing together, it's causing and magma uprising. It all means that some of these ancient rocks are then forced up, lifted up, tilted. And some of the breakthroughs were in Scotland at something called Sycamore Point, because they could see that there were older rocks on top of younger rocks, and they realised that there had to be these forces happening still, that there wasn't just a nice neat little sequence of the oldest rocks are at the bottom and the youngest rocks at the top, and that's how it's always stayed, and there's just been this consistent process.
We talk so often about the word awesome, and I get really agitated about blueberry muffins being described as awesome on Instagram. That's an awesome force, isn't it?
Yeah. It's an awesome force. It's something that instills, I say, a sense of that elemental force that's been going on. Wonder and awe. It puts us in perspective because we're here on this planet for such a minuscule amount of time compared to some of the rocks we can actually walk on have been on this planet.
What happens to those rocks now? They're not going to change now, are they?
Well, who knows? They could well in the future, because erosion continues, albeit all of these things are on sort of timescales that are really hard to get your mind around. Obviously, things like volcanoes, they're really obvious, and they're fast and abrupt mostly. But in Africa, in Kenya, the Rift Valley, that eventually will separate. In future, who knows? And certainly what we're walking on probably be buried under something else.
Yeah. Well, not in the next few years, at least.
No. Fortunately, I don't. I think whoever, future people on this photo walk retreat will be walking on the same path.
Yes, I suspect they probably will. Otherwise, we're in big trouble.
Yes,
yeah. Karen's come with a knee pad. What are you doing, Karen?
There's something eating something, and I've got the wrong lens on me.
I should just explain. Karen is practically lying on the floor. If you're going to get a shot of the of what's in the understory, that's the way to do it, isn't it? What are you actually photographing? The mushroom, or?
It's a spider.
Right.
And it's wrapping up its food, and actually, it's not very nice to look at, really, because you wouldn't want to be wrapped up and waiting to be eaten.
To be eaten, no.
So it's probably not a very good subject.
Well, I can't see it. You've obviously got a macro lens on here.
It's not, actually. It's only a 1655. It's not really the right lens, but it might come up.
Where is this spider you're looking at?
There's the mushroom that's past it.
Yeah.
And I don't want to touch his dinner. There's the spider.
Oh, I see him.
And he's wrapping up something that's almost as big as him.
Yeah. I always find it amazing when I see the bees that get trapped in sometimes. I'm sorry if you've got a thing about me. If this triggers somebody, I apologise, but sometimes these big bees get into our lantern in the house. Oh. And I try to get them out. I've got my little fishing net, which we try so much, and then boom, they're in a web, and there's nothing you can do. And before you know it, whoosh, small spider, probably a third, maybe less, the size of the bee, comes out, wrapped up for dinner, and had all in the space of, well, it seems only less than a minute. It's quite gruesome, really.
Yes, I'm not sure I want to watch this one anymore because it's.
We seem to be enjoying it, Karen.
Well, we'll see when the photograph comes out.
I feel like I've stepped into a different time. David has brought it's a roll-up camera. I've never heard of roll-up.
No, it's a cheap Rolex.
Well, I thought you mean
Rolex.
Rolex. Oh, God. I'm used to having a roll-up-ing when I do things wrong. Roll-up, made in Germany. So this is a twin reflex camera. Is it new to you?
Yes, I've had it about 4 weeks, and it came from a friend in Wales. So I've had to replace all of the seals around the edges because they had basically rotted away. Other than that, I put it back together, put a film in it, and it seemed to take some images.
Looks very good. A twin lens reflex. I'll get it right in a minute. TLR, twin lens reflex camera. Right, we got there. So you can explain what that is.
So basically there's two lenses, one which you look through and hope that you're seeing what you're actually going to get through the lens, but there is some difference, so you do have to adjust the camera slightly to allow for that difference. Otherwise you end up with the wife's feet cut off, as I did the other day.
So one is a viewing lens, the other is the taking lens.
Correct.
Right.
Correct. So what I've got to do now is work out the exposure and then dial that into it, and also make sure I've got the right length of time, the right aperture to get a correctly exposed image. Yeah. So it'll take me another 3 hours to set up, I'm afraid.
It's a glacial experience, this camera. But you look the part.
Yeah, I don't really feel the part.
Oh no, you just moved the camera forward. Did you know that?
Yeah, I was trying to line it up a little more precisely.
Right. That's not your hat, then. Spoiling the shot.
No, the trouble is I didn't bring a spirit level, so I'm not sure how square I am.
Spirit level?
Well, without a spirit level, I'm not sure I know what
Mind you, we can.
At.
Yeah, but that's the point. In the darkroom, we'll be able to position that straight.
Excellent.
Yes. Good luck. Here comes the switch.
Did you hear that?
Well, I'm not sure that came out, but I heard it in real life. Oh, I wish I'd have got you. I should have got the winding. Oh, we're going to do another one. Let me this time record under the shutter. There we go. Oh, there was something quite satisfying about that. Of course, we're yet to see the picture. We've got to wait 24 hours for the darkroom experience for that.
I'm not sure I'll be coming back for another one.
Don't take all your pictures here. There's a big walk. You're peaking early.
I think I peaked.
Well,
So I'll disassemble. It'll take me about half an hour and then I'll move on.
well, I know that they talk about films slowing you up. I'm going for dinner, David. See you tomorrow. Oh dear, that's a proper experience. That really is. Afternoon, walkers looking at me in a strange fashion. Just wait till they find David. Geraldine, I've spoken with your husband Dan, and I think he loves Scotland. This is the first time for both of you outside of the States and Canada.
Yes.
Which is lovely because it's wonderful to see somebody experiencing Europe for the first time.
Well, it's because of you that we're experiencing it, and this walk that you do.
Yeah.
That's what made me want to come. So yeah, it's absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah.
Much prettier in person than even in the beautiful pictures that you see.
You haven't even seen the locks yet.
No, we haven't.
Wow, okay.
No.
Well, we've got some treats to come for you.
We do.
That's for sure. So this is the first part of a small European odyssey for you, because you go from here to Germany.
Yep,
You're
into
doing
Munich.
That's right. You're doing a.
Oktoberfest.
You will be in no fit state to move on from there.
Well, we have to by like 9 o'clock in the morning.
I know. I can't believe that both of you have decided just to be there for 24 hours. You do know what Oktoberfest gets like, don't you?
Yes. But we'll be okay. We've got a long train ride, so.
I want to hear from both you and Dan the day after.
Absolutely.
Hi, Neil. We're okay. Don't worry. We can make it through. And then you're going to wonderful Italia.
Yes, into Rome and Orvieto.
Oh, Rome.
And
fantastic.
yeah, going to Vatican City. Yeah, we got tickets for the general audience with Pope Leo.
No. Are you joking me, or are you really?
We have seats, so yeah.
No way.
So we get to see the American Pope. The Italian-American
Pope. Well, the Pope.
The Pope, yes.
That's special.
It is.
Wow.
It is. It's something I've never dreamed, that would become a reality for me.
Well, I don't think a lot of Americans believe there'd be an American Pope. So
right.
It's pretty special all round.
It is very special all around.
So Scotland, Germany, Italy, although you have to say Italia. You play with the language.
Right?
Yeah?
Yes.
I've always said, even if you get it wrong, it doesn't matter. It's musical. It's there to be played with, like food.
Yes. We'll play with it on the train, on the ride down. And yep.
Yeah. Now, I've got an apology to make to you, Geraldine. I do want to talk about photography, and as the week goes along, we'll have plenty of opportunities to do so. But I was a bit mean to you yesterday, because when Geraldine arrived with Dan, they'd not long been in the barn, and I said, Geraldine, watch out, because you were going out for a walk, I think. I said, please be careful about the haggises. And you looked at me and do I need to be? Yeah, they're little things, big teeth, they run very, very fast. Keith joined in and said they have longer legs on one side so they can go around hills.
Yep. But they ran way faster than I did. I never
then we sent you on your way.
Right.
Only for you this morning at breakfast to say, excuse me, I think it's not the haggis I'm finding online.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that was a food.
Yeah,
made with liver and
that's it. All the offals.
What else was in there? Yeah.
It's very tasty. Not for everybody, I know, but I'm afraid I had to do that because my dad did that to me when I was just a little nipper and I came up here for the first time, and he said, be careful in the woods for the haggises. And I spent the whole holiday looking for. There was no internet then. There was no way to. There was no books. We weren't going to libraries. I just spent my entire holiday looking around me, hoping that the haggis wasn't going to creep up behind.
That's like when you go up north, Wisconsin, or up north is how they would say it. In Wisconsin, Dan is going to probably go up to the Rhinelander area, and you're looking out for the hodag.
The hodag?
Yeah, he's uglier than the haggis. So the haggis is actually cute when you compare it to a hodag. Yeah, but there is no hodag either. But, fun to look for.
I know, it's good that I know this for when I visit your area.
Oh.
And somebody says it to me in a diner and I look at them.
Oh, yeah, I gotcha. I'm on to you. Never thought of that.
What's your favourite form of photography? Here we are this week, able to do all kinds of stuff. If you want to do portraits, details, you do details, forestry, lochs, rivers, flowing water.
Macro photography, probably, if I really have to narrow it down, yeah. Because it's the fine detail. Some of it you catch with your eyes, when the rest of it is revealed in that photograph after you capture it. And, some see a lot of things that you don't see, with the naked eye.
We don't do, it's not that we don't do, it's just I haven't done a programme about macro.
Yeah.
And I keep saying we must do.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's a whole new world.
It is, really, Yeah, it is. And it makes you look closer at the ground, when you're walking.
Yes.
Instead of just, kind of strolling with the head up, you're down and then you get to catch. However, I was on a retreat. It would have been the second week of December. So typically we have snow on the ground in Wisconsin, but we had no snow that year. There's a grasshopper. I was walking through woods like this.
In December?
In December, yeah. A grasshopper. And it was alive, out. But again, if I wouldn't have been looking, to look for that detail. Yeah, no, I never would have saw it.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And you get down on the ground and you just, you can just zoom in on them and really see them.
We do talk a lot about looking up. When you're photographing, make sure you're looking up sometimes because there's a world up there. But you are right. There's a world in the understory as well. My Dutch uncle Jan, he was fantastic at looking. He'd have made a brilliant photographer. He looked at the ground. He was an observational man. And the ice creams that we had on holiday were always paid for by Uncle Jan because he would pick up 50p pieces, £1 notes when they were currency or tender. But he would find all sorts of stuff, little trinkets of things he'd find on the floor just by making sure he looked down.
Right.
Very important. How's the film challenge coming on? Because you've got your film camera. How many shots have you made?
Well, I took my glasses off, so I don't know, about 16 maybe.
Oh, you're 16 in? Oh,
yeah.
Good effort, I'd say. 16, but now, perfect.
I think I'm going to have some in-focused photos, so...
Hopefully.
So that'll be exciting.
Now, a quick note at this stage. You will have heard me mention two Dans. There's Geraldine's Dan from America. They're on this retreat together. There's Barb's Dan from Canada. They're not on this retreat together. Just in case you were thinking, hang on, isn't that Dan and getting all confusulated, as Stanley Irwin used to say. You can look him up. Just thought I'd drop that one in. As for haggis being alive and well and snapping at your heels, my dad really did have me believe that. I think for a good week or so. Having said that, if the kids are listening along right now... Shh! Can you see that? Just over there. No, to your left a bit. Left. There we go, there. You see it? It's a haggis, I know it is. See if I can get close enough. They're very timid. They can be a bit aggressive, but generally, they're quite timid. Out of breeding season, that is. Here we go. See if I can get a picture. Go on, don't you dare. Don't. Oh. Gone. Honestly. What are you looking for, Kelly? What have you seen?
He's a birdie.
It's not one of those flying haggises, is it?
No,
Sorry,
no.
I spoke too loudly then.
No, that's that thing, isn't it?
Where is it? It's gone.
Here he is.
Oh, yeah.
Straight up.
Yeah. I've got him.
I'm thinking, because it sounds like a chickadee from home, so I think they're the little blue tits, I think.
Yeah. Well, we have great tip, blue tip. There's
a few others,
and a
isn't
few others, yeah.
Yeah.
The chickadee.
Chickadee, yeah.
Chickadee.
Little black one, about the same size as that. So
Right.
here we have mountain chickadees and chickadees. And
There's no such brand.
there is two. Yeah. They're cute. They're the ones I sent you a video once. Remember him landing on my hand?
Yeah.
So.
Oh, they're friendly little characters.
Yes,
then.
they're very smart little things too.
Yeah.
Because if you go like this and there's nothing there, the second time they just turn their nose up and fly the other way.
I wouldn't blame them.
No, exactly.
I'm only coming for breakfast or nothing at all. It's lovely to see you with us again, Kelly. It's always lovely to spend time with you. It feels like we come home with you here. It does. Here we are at the Blackwater again.
Yeah.
I don't ever tire of this river.
No, I don't either, because depending which way you go, like I think this is the second time I went this way.
Yeah.
And I've seen more things than you see on the other side. I think there's more on this side than there is on the other.
Well, yeah, that's why we've decided this year to start this side.
Okay.
That's not for people that have come in previous years to think, well, that's nice, Neil. Why didn't you start us off on the riverside? Because we all saw both sides, but I just thought we'd start riverside this time.
Yeah, no, it's nice because it's quiet here, except for
a little bit of traffic behind me. That's the only thing I don't like so much about this side.
But you get further up and you can't hear it because of the water anyways. So
yeah. So it's been quite a big year for you photographically because you started shooting some film.
Yes.
You showed me that wonderful book. Tell us about the book.
Oh.
Come on.
Okay.
Don't be shy.
Don't be shy. Let's see. Well, the idea came to me while I'm at work because I'm overactive brain syndrome at work. Little pieces of paper and things written on them. And it kind of popped into my brain and it kept popping into my brain.
Yep.
And the original project I was going to do was 12 rolls of film in 12 months. And
a roll a month.
And January rolled around and so did winter, and it was just darn cold, and I went, I'm not going outside.
Yeah.
So March rolled around and it started to warm up, and I thought, let's go do something.
Yeah.
And I started, and like I said, I don't know where the idea come from. It just popped into my head, and I just started working on it. And usually what I try to do is go twice a month because there's two sides of the street.
Yeah.
So I'll do one roll for one side and then go get that developed and pick up another roll and go do the other side. So I technically still have one side of the one section of the street to do, which is on my plans for when I get home. And take that in and take my Scottish film in and see what I get and then keep working from there. So somebody had suggested, well, why don't you do a book? And I went, well, why not?
Yeah.
So I started thinking about it and fiddling around with the photos and placing photos in and just trying to decide whether I liked it or not. And it started to come together. And I think so far it turned out not too bad. I'm impressed with it. I don't know about the writing abilities, but
No. You undersell your creative abilities there. But producing something that's tactile is important. I know we bang on about this all the time on the show, and I'll not make any apologies for that because it is something that's rather special when you first came yesterday and you put that in my hand and I thought, look at this. Well, no, you didn't run away, but
I was close to it. It's hide under the table then.
Well, I've always got my sofa of flattery that we can hide behind.
We'll share.
But it is lovely to see it, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Because you've done it with a camera where you have to really, really think about it.
Yeah.
You've put some very intense thought behind what that button before you click that button.
Yeah.
It's, here's what I've done. You can see it.
Yeah.
You can hold it. Yeah. Smell it if you wanted to, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know if that makes sense.
Well, it does. I'm not so sure about the smelling the print. But I get you, Kelly. I know we talk a lot on this, particularly when we go into the forest to do the forest bathing and the writing. We talk about smelling, tasting the forest, which does not mean people need to start licking the leaves or anything like that. Yeah. But that's a very good impression, young man. Do that again. There we go. Lesser spotted haggis.
I can do a pigeon.
A pigeon as well. Go and do a pigeon for me.
But sometimes it only works if...
Your son's entertaining us, if that's all right.
It only works if I have a pigeon on my shoulder.
Well, I can't just magic a pigeon out of nowhere.
Well, there's got to be a pigeon somewhere.
Do you know what noises pigeons make?
Yes.
What noise do they make?
Very good.
Pretty good. But do you know how many... This is a thing of mine.
You ever hear a pigeon? You'll never unhear this, by the way. This is Mum and Dad. Oh, am I okay to talk to
Yeah, go for it.
your son? He's going to be on a podcast. Is that okay?
Okay.
So if you listen to a pigeon the next time, they go, doo, 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 and then you stop. And it always goes, doot, at the end, after about 3 seconds.
I'll try that.
They can't count. They're supposed to do 5, they do 6.
Well, do you know what? I can do that, and I'll see if it works.
Yep, you do that. What's your name?
Hamish.
No, Hamish. Very Scottish. Love it. Watch out for the haggises, Hamish.
Okay.
See you later. Nice to meet you. I don't know where we were in our discussion. Licking leaves or something like that. How on earth did we end up with licking leaves? That's a strange moment, that, with Hamish doing pigeon impressions. Should we keep that in?
Yeah, of course.
Well, it's all part of what happens when you go out on walks, isn't it? You meet people. Hamish is looking back over his shoulder thinking that was a strange bloke.
I'm wondering how much longer we can milk the haggis thing, if you'll pardon the phrase. Now, Tuesday is Darkroom Day, and in previous years we've taken you through lights out, dunking the tanks, and how to knock to enter a light-proof room through the light-proof door. I sound like I'm doing that in the dark, dark woods thing. So I thought this year, after a brief welcome, we'd just spend some time further along the process, if you'll forgive the pun, after the film has been processed and everyone's learned or relearned how to use an enlarger. No two drive the same, after all.
Oh dear.
Have price set at all.
But welcome to the Inverness Darkroom. So you've seen it before, but if Dan and Michael would like to stand up and wander around, I can show you the rest of the space. So here we have 7 enlargers, which is really nice, a nice setup. This is different from last year. And round the corner here, we have another 4 enlargers, and this is the kind of professional side. Okay. This is where the big beasts are. So this is our professional side. So round the other side is still high quality equipment, but it's much easier to use for the beginner. And this stuff here really needs a separate induction. And this is the wet area, and dark rooms have a wet area and a dry area, and the two don't mix for 2 reasons. That's electrical.
Yeah,
but also we don't take chemicals across there because it might leave contaminated areas which would affect our photographic materials. So we're going to be using this to develop our film in a wee while. And we've got lots of drying equipment and safety goggles and all sorts of things. So we're really nicely set up, and this is a lovely big space. I don't know if you've been in a dark room before, haven't you?
Yes, a long time ago.
You probably discovered that it was painted black and was quite miserable, really.
It really was. It was quite dark. The entire time we were in there, everything was dark, yes.
Well, the photographic paper that we use doesn't react to red light, which is why you can work under a red light condition. But it's about the frequency of light, not the amount of light. So you can paint your walls white and have really bright, safe lights, and you can see really clearly what you're doing and what you're up to. So the reason for having a dark room is a bit odd, because it's the frequency of light that's important, not the quantity.
It's more the mood, though, isn't it? I'm thinking Silence of the Lambs for some reason.
Yeah, but we've got white walls and we can see everything really, really clearly.
That may show up a lot in a print.
What have you got here, Michael?
See, if you look at this through this
Through the loop. The loop.
there's a lot of little like microscopic hairs on the negative.
On the negative.
Yeah, see, look in the sky area there.
Can you see the same hairs?
Oh, now there's a different one actually. So I think they're not.
I think they're on the light box, because if you look at the light box,
Yeah, that's very possible.
yeah, look, there's lots of little hairs on the light box. Look, we can't blame us, Michael, because we don't have a hair on our head. So it's the others. What have you gone for? What picture?
Do that one.
What is that?
Well, I I don't really know.
Well, it's forestry.
It looks like a.
Is it confusing seeing it the other way round? So dark is light, light is dark.
Yeah, and it's so tiny. I
Yeah.
mean, and it's black and white, which I forgot about when I was shooting.
Contrast is contrast.
Yes. Okay, so I'll do that one.
Dan is looking through his negatives on the light box with a loop. Now, You're making a present. I don't think we're doing a spoiler, because by the time this comes out, you'd have given the present to Barb's, your wife.
Yes.
If you haven't given her the present, that's because it was a rubbish set of prints.
Yes.
And
well,
Barb's, that's the reason why you've just got a postcard instead.
Exactly.
But so the idea is that you want to give your wife a nice present to celebrate your time in Scotland.
That's right.
And what better than a handmade print?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think that, something that I was able to create while here, give to her, and she loves Scotland so much, it would be very meaningful for her.
So the pictures you took then, what will you choose? So if you want to choose a meaningful print, we're in forestry, there's some waterside ones there, there's one of a mushroom.
Yeah, I think that the dynamic action that is captured in the waterfall, and then the one that I was looking at to print now, we see some of the water coming down over the fall. You see some foliage off to the side, and I think it's fairly nicely balanced, and it should capture the essence of that moment standing there by the bank.
What will it eventually end up in, a frame or?
Yeah, I think I will have it framed for her, so that now I won't have an opportunity necessarily to buy a frame before her birthday, but I will give it to her for her birthday and then get the frame for her.
I love, because the aspect ratio of paper we're working to is 8:10, isn't it? 10:8, 8:10.
I believe.
I love it when you have a slightly smaller picture with lots of mount around it.
Yes. Yeah, and I quite enjoy shooting through things at times.
Yeah.
This one, if I'm not sure it'll show up, but there was some smaller trees in the front of it, and then capturing the water cascading down over the rocks. I think
nice.
Would be nice.
Meanwhile, through in the trays, we've got Sarah. Oh, you're in the wash. Test strip in the wash.
Yes.
And Michael is in the fix with a print of... Oh, this is your one in the forest.
This is my one in the forest.
Yes.
And there's also a bridge somewhere in there.
And forest imps.
Yes. Well, probably not, but...
Well, people are seeing faces in rocks. I wouldn't be surprised.
I'll add the imps in post-production. I have, as usual, completely forgotten what time I put this in here, so...
Well, remember, it's a minimum time, so just... If you have that in the fix for... Oh, I don't know, leave it in another minute, and it won't do any harm at all. And then you've done what you need to do. And then straight into the wash.
I think it looks pretty good. I mean,
I think so.
It would be interesting to see it in daylight.
Yeah. I like that there's a frame around it.
Yeah, I don't.
How did that happen?
Well, drawing on my many years of darkroom experience, Neil, I have no idea how that happened. I was liking that too, and I thought, why wasn't that on my first print? I don't know.
Happy accidents.
Yeah.
Looks good to me. Now, Dan was telling me he was making a present for Barb's. Your husband, Andrew, would he like this as a present?
Yeah, I think so. I don't know, his office looks out onto Lake Como, so this might be a little moody for him. He might like something colorful and cheery.
Let's put it in the downstairs loo. What have you chosen negative-wise then, Keith, and why?
It's gone for the river scene with a rock.
Well, we're next to a river, so there's a lot of river scenes.
Well, no, I did a lot of tree shooting.
Oh, did you?
So basically I come between trees and the river. Obviously, hopefully, we've got a rock in the middle with the water coming down at either side.
Oh, lovely.
Hopefully going for, well, I doubt how much will come out, but obviously the scene in the background with the going up the middle of the river, maybe with a mountain in the back, if we're lucky.
There's a few ifs here.
Big ifs.
David, you're working medium format.
I am, so we've got a bigger image to look at.
Yeah.
And I think, or hoping, I've chosen one with people in.
Oh, you've chosen a people picture. Oh, nice.
I'm not sure, but it looks like someone's taking a macro photograph because they're very close to the ground.
So it's in the carriage. You
It's
check
a bit
focus of it.
squiff. Oh yes, it was nicely focused.
Here's you've chosen a print right at the end of the negative, so
which makes it challenging
to get it into the carriage. No, it's poking out there, David. I was hoping for a big noise then, David, a click or something. No click. All right. You're ready to go. What have you chosen then, Karen? What picture?
Mine's a river scene, and there's good shade and light in it, I hope. And I've got a nice tree just off centre in the foreground.
Perfect. Light's about to go off, about to meet red light again. Good luck.
Thank you very much.
Test strip time.
Oh, yes.
Dan's choosing. Now, Dan, I'm really disappointed that I wasn't over your shoulder when the first print that you've ever made in your life came to life. I missed it, Dan. It was like being, I don't know, a dad who's supposed to be at the birth of his first and he's just missed it. Where were you? I was in the pub. What are we going to... Well, first of all, how did you feel doing your first print, Dan? Was it magic?
It was magic coming to life.
Yes.
Yes, that I will say.
I'm sorry I missed the birth of your print.
Well, you got to be fast if you want to keep up with me.
Yes, I can tell. What are we going for then? You're going to choose another print?
Yep, one
There's
more.
some... I've got to say, for somebody who's... You've never shot film before in your life, have you? For somebody who's never shot film before, there's the focus... Most of these nailed it. Exposure, I know some of them you were saying, Neil, some of them I can't see, but it's pretty good, I've got to say, Dan.
They turned out better than I thought.
What did we say last night when we were having dinner and you said to me, Neil?
People pay big money for this, Neil.
That's what we hope. What are you going to choose? Another river scene or woodland or...
I'm going to go for a...
You did some portraits of your wife, didn't you?
That's what I want to try and pick out here. Yeah, we'll have to run.
Let's go do a test strip. So you can take that out. Yeah. Well, one thing you can do, is that your carriage?
Yep.
Good. You've made a wise decision. Load it in the carriage in the light. Then take it into your enlarger. Remember, do not turn the light of the enlarger on before you put the carriage in. Otherwise, you're going to have 5 other people saying, turn that light off. And you will not be popular. Meanwhile, at enlarger number 3, Geraldine is producing magic. What's that song? We can do magic. Not supposed to sing in the dark room, are you?
Yeah,
Is it bad luck to sing in the dark room?
Singing in the dark room.
Singing in the dark room?
To be encouraged, sir.
Oh, is it to be encouraged? Oh. I thought, because if you go in the kitchen and you start singing in front of chefs, they get very uppity. Don't sing in my kitchen. So you're waiting to produce your test strip. What have you chosen, Geraldine?
This one is a tree.
Right.
Because my first one...
There's a bit of huffing and puffing going on, if you don't mind me saying. This one is a tree. I sense there's been a disaster.
Well, not a disaster. It's just it's dark to the white, in the fog, the sky. So there's too much playing that has to be done with it. So it's a Lightroom project.
Have you ever heard of Peter Lick?
No.
No. He's not first and foremost, he's not a darkroom printer. At least I don't think, Peter, you're a darkroom printer, but he does produce prints, digital work that's worth, I don't know, $1 million. Or whatever. Yeah, he's worked on I think the business premise is scarcity. So there's a sort of pyramid way of working. And I think your Dan, your husband, has already worked out with his prints that there's a lot of money coming into this family. He's convinced. Aren't you, Dan? He's not listening. Dan's convinced that he's going to make the fortune.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
So.
Then we can keep coming back and using the darkroom to develop.
Yeah. We'll all just sit back and watch Dan's magic.
Right.
What was it like watching your print come alive, the first one?
Oh, it's exciting. It's nice watching it come into the photograph. Yeah, I like that. Yeah, that's a cool process.
Well, suffice to say, we all came away with pictures and prints from what is essentially a 2-day process, given the tuition, the shooting, and the darkroom experience. And it's truly fun to watch those who've never worked in a darkroom in this digital world we live in see a print come to life in a tray. Though Dan, Geraldine's Dan that is still not forgiving me for not being at his side, for he's first. As he said, you gotta be quick to keep up with me. Next year we're changing things up, and we'll be producing the most exquisite print each in a very mindful process called photogravure, and we'll tell you a little more about that later on. But in essence, we take your biggest digital image that you've made on the first day in Scotland, or the biggest picture of your life, and turn that into the most exquisite print through a handmade pressing and printing process that takes your digital image and makes it into art. Most photographers will never do this in their lifetime. Right, all shh now, because it's Wednesday and we're with Merryn Glover to find some confidence with our writing, to experiment and to bathe in nature, whilst letting words come to us in a series of writing exercises. I think that's right, isn't it, Merryn?
So the purpose of the workshop is to explore different approaches to text that you might put alongside your photography, to give you some ideas, some inspiration and some courage to try different things. But the way in which we will approach that is not necessarily immediately to do with that matching of text and photography. It's not a kind of technical approach to start with. We're going to take some time outside. Where we will begin there is really with our bodies, using all of our senses to become fully aware of the place that we're in and what that place is offering to us, and that then as we go into the writing, it's from that very kind of rooted sense of really being alive and being there and being aware that we then offer back something in our words. So that's the process, and then we'll have some writing exercises, a little bit of sharing and discussion along the way, and then we'll bring that to a point of talking about, well, how might that work with what you want to do with your images. So that's our process. In the time outside, it's important that you will be able to be comfortable. So I think Lynn's got some picnic rugs and plastic bags and so on to sit on. If you would prefer to stand in the space rather than sit, that's okay. But I was thinking about it in the car on the way up, then it's nice to maybe find a tree to lean against or something like that. I'll just talk you through what's going to happen, and so that when we go, we all know what we're doing. So we're all going to find somewhere comfortable by yourself, but where you can still hear me. And if you're comfortable, just to close your eyes, and I'll take us through a breathing, centering exercise to be fully in this time and place. And then we'll be kind of working through focusing on the senses. And then once we've opened our eyes, I'll encourage you to move through the space and explore it, and to note down on the chart that I've given you any words or phrases, images that come to mind for each of the senses. And that sixth box is emotions, ideas, feelings, inner feelings. And you're just gathering a word hoard, so they don't have to be complete sentences, just as many words as you can pack into each one. But throughout the whole exercise, if we're not talking or interacting with each other, just allowing each of us to engage with the space and with your own writing. And then I'll call us all back together. And once we set off on the exploring, want to let you go off to do that, part of that exercise, if you're physically comfortable, is to find lots of different ways of engaging with the space. So that might be turning upside down, that might be lying on your back, that might be lying down with your feet up the trunk of a tree or whatever. So that's the invitation for that time as well. Okay, so just to begin with, find somewhere comfortable for you to sit if sitting is comfortable. Okay, and just getting yourself settled and comfortable in your space, sitting or lying. And feel free to shift your position during this time if you need to move to be comfortable. And just closing our eyes. And allow your body to settle into this place. Be aware of your breath. There's no need to force it, but just be aware of it flowing in and out. And as you breathe in, imagine that air filling your whole body, filtering down through your ribs, all the way down your legs to your toes, all the way out to your fingertips. So with these writing exercises, the rules, we're talking about freedom, but the rules are for your freedom. And the first rule is you just keep your hand moving. You don't stop, because you don't criticize yourself, you don't correct anything, you don't scratch anything out, you don't even stop and think. So your first prompt, you'll be writing for 1 minute, is I hear.
This experience of immersing yourself in nature is special in itself. Add the practice of closing your eyes and engaging every sense, finding words for what you hear, what you feel, even the taste of the air. And it becomes something best understood when you're there in the scene. But I hope this gives you a flavour of the midweek Photowalk writing exercises. After we finished and returned to base to read, to debrief and ask questions over locally made ginger cake, the cake, we listened to some of Merryn's poetry to round off the morning before heading to the beautiful village of Cromarty with our notebooks to find a few stories with what we'd learned.
Ben Macdui, Bain Macdui, the mountain of the son of Duff, high king of thunder, old grey man, chief of the range, head of the clan.
For such a small village, Cromarty has quite a few graveyards and where's Lynn gone? Hang on. I'm going down into a crypt. Quite a few graveyards, churches, and we've just gone down into a crypt. Lynn, have you never seen a horror movie?
I don't watch them, Neil. They're too scary.
This is a look at, oh my word, that looks... Is that your light that's lighting up that? Yeah. No, but it's lighting up the tombstone. We're in the crypt. Let me get a picture of this. I certainly don't need my neutral density filter on. Let's turn that off. So F4 ISO. Well, it's still 12,000. Let's go a bit wider. And Lynn, just cheat for me a bit and light up that graves. That it doesn't make a lot of difference, does it? 3,200 ISO, F2. No, this one.
This one.
Just there. Well, that doesn't really show it because above us there's light. In fact, that's the way I can get it. Lynn, stay there underneath the light, and I'll photograph back into the crypt and look up into the light there. There we go. Look up into the light. There we go. That's better. What have you got for me history-wise? Because we've never visited this before. This is the pirate's graveyard. I have to say it with a pirate's voice.
You do, don't you? Yeah, we've never been here. And actually, I've never been here either, which...
What do you know about it? Because, interestingly, I think these do as well. The tombs... Oh, no, these don't. These have crosses on them. The tombs, generally around here, seem to have... That one's got a candle. Somebody's been here recently. Ooh.
I was getting a bit excited because I thought I could see bones, but they're twigs.
I tell you what, I thought I saw a rat down there, but that's not.
I've not heard any scurrying sounds.
Oh, look, there's the ubiquitous Tennant's Lager can. What can you tell me about?
Well, I'm going to have to
this yard.
Read some things. So, now, the pirate's graveyard isn't really a burial place for pirates, so we have to get that straight right from the start. It's actually called St Regulus's graveyard. But
they are graves.
Yes, but almost all of the gravestones in this graveyard have a skull and crossbones on them. So that's why the locals call this the pirate's graveyard.
Well, why would they have skull and crossbones on them?
Memento mori. Remember, you're going to die.
Yeah, but it was wasn't that an iconic insignia for pirates? Or have I been watching too many Bluebeard movies or Blackbeard movies or whatever bloody colour beard it was?
I think so. You're going to park a parrot on your shoulder in a minute.
Pieces of eight.
Yeah, it's a grotesque style of sculpture.
Right.
So it was. They're quite old, actually, I think. I'm just trying to find out how old they are.
Who was in this crypt? Because this obviously is something. This is a bit. Oh, it's not really ornate, but you'd have had to be a bit moneyed to have had this, wouldn't you?
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, it's a proper.
Can't believe we can just
crypt, doesn't it?
walk into a crypt.
Well, I was quite surprised that we could just come down that little slope and in here. So it's the private chapel, actually, of the Urquhart clan chiefs.
Oh.
So that's what it is. And the Urquhart clan crest is above the doorway that we came in.
And the stones that I see around here, which aren't particularly ornate, to be honest, when you consider that this would have been a clan that were chiefs of the area, it doesn't seem that it's particularly...
But maybe if it was a chapel, possibly they weren't actually buried in here. These have just been put in later.
Okay.
I'm going to have to do a bit of research when we get back to see if I can find
I'm going to leave you in here. Would you like me to close the doors? What have you found, Joelyn?
The burial spot of Lieutenant William Roffs. Actually, I'm not sure if I should say what intrigued me about this headstone or
Well,
not.
no, you have to.
But well, when you come in from over there, I mean, it just reminds me of a witch's hat. Yeah, so I had to come over and see who really was buried here. But I'm thinking Lieutenant was not of witchcraft, right?
You were thinking witch's hat. I was thinking traffic cone.
Oh, yeah. Now that you say traffic cone, yes, I see that as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a fascinating place, this, isn't it?
It is.
There's the big old house across there, by the way.
Yeah, caught that.
Intriguing place. Let's see what Karen makes of it. Karen's getting ready for shot of the day. Why are you drawn to... So Geraldine was drawn to that one because of the witch's hat. What's drawn you to this? Gravestones, I think, are fascinating, aren't they, Karen?
They really are, and so in here, just so different. You often get graveyards where everything's very similar.
Yeah.
And I haven't seen a cross like that before. It almost looks like
a round wooden one.
Yes, it almost like tree made out of tree trunks, but it seems to have rivets in it.
Oh, yeah.
So what that symbolises, I don't know. So I thought a picture of it would be good, but also if I could take a picture, I might be able to make out the writing underneath, which I can't at the moment.
I reckon you could do some rubbings here, couldn't you? Put paper across it, rub, and you'd probably bring up the words quite well. That was not my suggestion, that was Lynn's suggestion.
Oh.
But I'm always fascinated by what's written on graves. This one you can read really well. Christian Fraser, in memory of her beloved husband, what's that? John Templeton, late merchant, died on the 18th of February, 1838. I mean, in terms of this graveyard, that's fairly recent.
It is, isn't
That's
it?
strange to think, isn't it?
Yeah.
What do you make of the skulls and crossbones and things?
Now that I know what it symbolises, I can understand it, and I thought, I quite like the sound of that. But that's probably because it's so different to thinking of it as pirates than thinking of it as memory of that, well, we all pass.
You might be forgiven for thinking we spent the afternoon visiting only the village's extraordinary churches. Ask photographers with notebooks to find a quiet place to write and create, and I suppose it makes sense, as Kelly is about to share. Cromarty, though, as a village, sits at the tip of the Black Isle, where we stay for the retreat. It became a royal borough in the 13th century beneath a castle, and later prospered through sea trade in salt fish, hemp and brewing. The harbour was rebuilt by an engineer called John Smeaton in 1784, and the town still shows a fine run of Georgian houses. It's the birthplace of Hugh Miller, the stonemason turned geologist and writer, whose thatched cottage and museum sit on Church Street. The Cromarty Firth long served as a Royal Navy anchorage, but in the late 20th century, the wider Firth shifted toward the oil industry and now offshore wind. It's a curious sight to drive into the village down the hill and, by playful perspective, see an oil rig looming up seemingly just beyond the end of the high street, towed in for work, while Cromarty leans into heritage, wildlife watching and the arts, with the suitors guarding the harbour mouth as they have for centuries.
The Gaelic church looks down upon Cromarty Firth. If I look actually through the gap here, this is the juxtaposition about this town. Well, I can't quite see one. I thought I'd see just over there an oil rig that's been pulled in to be either renovated or taken apart, one of the two, and you'd see it from this graveyard. But this is the Commonwealth graveyard, which is in the grounds of the Gaelic church, which has the roof's gone. It's falling apart very sadly because it's a beautiful looking church. Kelly, I know I'm not expecting you to suddenly have all the history about this churchyard, but we are stood in the Commonwealth part of the yard.
Yes.
Which is beautifully preserved, and you wonder why. But that's because the Commonwealth Graves, is it Graves Commission? I've got this wrong now.
Yes, I think that's what it is.
But they look after these grounds. They're immaculate, aren't they?
Yes. And it's not just here, it's all around the world.
Is it?
Yes.
Same in Canada?
Same in Canada, same
Australia,
in the US, et cetera,
okay. Yeah.
Yep. It's a committee, and I believe it's done by donation and charitable work, etc.
Kelly's helping me to find my ancestry. You're really fascinated by, and I know it sounds a bit grim to some people, but you're fascinated by graveyards and the ancestry of those that have departed.
Yeah, they speak to us. You have to listen hard, but they speak to us.
You don't mean that, you mean metaphorically, don't you?
Yes. Well, you never know. I should tell you the story, but I won't right now.
We'll have people now saying, tell us, Kelly.
Graveyards hold so much information. You have to look, you have to dig, not literally dig. You have to be able to kind of read through the lines to be able to decipher some of the information.
But what is it about these places that fascinates you so? Certainly for the ones you have back in Canada.
They're quiet.
Oh.
Listen, what do you hear? You hear the wind, and you hear the silly crows talking to themselves.
Yeah.
And at the moment, nothing. And if you just close your eyes and just listen, like our Zen session this morning in the forest, right? So you don't need a forest to go in and find your Zen or your quiet or your center. You can do it here as well. Granted, some people are a bit creeped out by cemeteries, and I get that. But they're not here anymore. They're not hanging out in a graveyard. Are you going to hang out in a graveyard when you're done?
Well, I wasn't planning on that behaviour.
Neither are they. They're off doing their thing. And it's just a quiet place to go.
I find them fascinating. I find them melancholic. I find them quite sad. When I read, because I go to so many weddings in my life, I read gravestones, and you read the ages and...
He was just starting.
What's that?
He was 21. He was just starting. Died in 1914.
Can I step across here?
Yep.
Okay. Harry Webb, able seaman, it's got a number here as well. HMS Laurel, died June the 18th, 1914, aged 21.
But what interests me is you come up here and you look around, and I read some of the names, and I go, that name's at home. That name's at home. Young's, James's, Bell's, McKay's. All of this eventually came to Canada. That doesn't make sense, but yes.
No, it does. It does.
You know, all of those family names show up where I come from.
Yeah.
You know, so they're linked. We're linked. Even though we're a million miles away from home, we are linked.
There's a link.
Yep.
Yeah. I get what you mean about the quiet.
Yeah.
I'm going to get a picture of the Gaelic church, actually, in the background. So I can hold my mic and shoot. You've heard me do this on the show.
Yes.
I do drop the camera sometimes. Not very often.
Shouldn't tell your secrets.
320 shutter speed, f3.2, crows in the background, 160 ISO. Should we enjoy some peace? Hold on. Somebody's mowing a lawn.
It's not your plane flying overhead.
No,
though.
it's not a plane. I'll give you that. I'll give you that.
My friend Kelly, having some quiet thinking time, lawn mowers allowing, of course, in Cromarty. Now, just for a moment, if you'll forgive a special thank you to Kelly, who's joined us for 3 of our most recent Scottish adventures. We're going to miss you next year, Kelly, as we move to June for 2026, seeing that we're in Mongolia in this September. But I'm looking forward to seeing your pictures of puffins on that special adventure you're taking next year in June. Long lenses at the ready, Kels. Although not for this next part, we're off to Glen Affric as we head into the final few days of our time in Scotland for 2025. It's great to have some resident experts on hand, as you're about to find out in the form of Sarah. Excuse the wind, by the way. Not Sarah, obviously, but the hoolie whistling around the microphone. But what Sarah had to say was just too important not to include.
A slight climb up from the car park, but not far really. There's this wonderful viewing, I'm going to call it a viewing platform, where you look across Glen Affric and the winding glen that's running through it. Plantation trees all around us. And Sarah.
He's pointing out the not plantation trees.
Yeah.
So the beautiful birch and the Caledonian pine trees, which are the native trees. So this place is really special because they're restoring them. They're allowing the native trees to grow and removing the plantation ones. So it's a spectacular place to be.
It is.
Mountains, clouds, and these gorgeous, gorgeous Caledonian pines.
Been a bit inclement, the weather, getting here. Now, when you travel from the east to west coast, you're a west coast dweller, aren't you? So you know the west coast weather in Scotland can be somewhat wetter, which is why down the west coast of the UK in general, you can find rainforests.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Absolutely. So I think people, your other listener will remember that that west coast is quite damp. The temperatures stay about the same. We don't get much snow. Temperature fairly mild, and but it's the wet. The trees that I love, the rainforest trees, love the wet.
Yeah.
Really spectacular. And not only do the trees love the wet, so do the special lichen that grow on them.
Were you drawn to rainforests before you moved to the west coast of Scotland? Was it always something you were interested in? Because you're part of a group now that's involved in the conservation, aren't you?
Yes, I am. I think, if I'm honest, I didn't know much about them.
Yeah.
So I always knew that the trees on the west coast were really beautiful, really short and gnarly and just stunning. I don't think I understood them till I moved to the west coast and started to learn more about them. So, you know, it's like when you're living in a place, it's just special and you become embedded. You notice more, don't you?
Yeah.
And I started noticing that things were really different on the west coast to over here, which is, well, I suppose fairly central, but it's heading west coast is just down the loch, so we'll come to the west coast eventually.
The west coast then, the trees are shorter and gnarly, are they? But I always think of rainforests as these huge, great trees, canopies that stretch as far as a 747 can fly in the air. But it's not like that.
It's not like that. Not on the west coast of Scotland or the west coast of the UK. So our temperate rainforests are much, the trees are stunted by the weather. So we've got a lot of wind and that keeps them growing quite low.
Right.
It's a tendency to be. Unlike if you go to, I've never been, but if you go to the west coast of Canada, for example, then you can have huge trees. and it's still temperate rainforest. So there are various places. So temperate. So you're really talking about Amazon, aren't you? I think that's what people think of: toucans and monkeys and.
Where's me Scottish toucans?
Well, they're lacking. I'm sure they're around somewhere, but they're not coming out to play in this wind. In fact, the temperate rainforests are far rarer than the tropical rainforests.
Right. Oh, these ones?
Yes, absolutely. So the ones in the UK, very, very rare, are much more under threat. So in the UK, we're in a very intensively managed sort of environment. A lot of the places where they thrive has been cleared for sheep or for farming or for buildings or for all sorts of other commercial reasons. So the bits that are left are little fragments hanging on in I suppose gullies and little canyons and things like that next to waterfalls.
So these temperate rainforests are not necessarily large, are they? They can be small areas.
Yeah, absolutely. Very small areas. Sometimes only, maybe a few hundred trees.
Oh, really?
And that could still be classified as temperate rainforest with an opportunity to restore it.
What's that over there? Because when I look across there, that does look a bit out of Africa. Those trees they're very different to the plantation around them.
Yes, and that's nice. It's a nice example. So there you're seeing the Caledonian pines, the Scots pines, which are the native Scottish pine trees. And behind it you can see the plantation trees. And that's what's happening here, is they are slowly taking out the plantation trees to allow the Scots pines to regenerate. So they're doing it quite slowly and steadily and thoughtfully. But this place is very special and a showcase really for what can happen, so what can be achieved.
I'm hoping you've heard what Sarah sang, because I'm shielding the microphone and standing in front of Sarah. She must be thinking, what are you doing? But because the wind is quite harsh up here. So the temperature interests me then. So that's sort of very rugged, the snows and the bitterness of Scotland that you think of. That's not really the West Coast.
That's not the West Coast at all, no. So go across the Cairngorm, so go to East Coast,
and then,
where Merryn comes from, and we're talking about serious cold and frost and proper almost Arctic conditions in the winter.
As you drive up the A9, you've got all those the snow poles that will, and I always think the little red bit at the top, I'm thinking surely it doesn't go that high.
Yeah, no, it does. I remember going through Glencoe many years ago, just before they shut the snow gates. Lots of other people will recognise that, but the snow drifts were towering over the cars. It was really spooky. Going through it in the dark as well, very spooky, magnificent, a bit scary.
Yeah,
didn't want to break down there.
Is there a rush to get all the snow gates are coming down?
Yeah, you get the lorries desperate to get through to their next location.
That's it. There's no other way. No other way.
No, you're heading back from Glencoe. You'd be heading back to Tyndrum and parking up for the night or a few.
Yeah. Well, I don't want to stop you photographing. And it does look like there's another wave of rain coming our way. So I'll let you get some pictures. Yeah, it does. Is that mist or is that a lot of rain? I suspect rain. Okay. Looking down the glen towards Loch Maree. This is my favourite view.
Stunning.
Always my favourite view from the week. We leave it to the last day always, because I think, hang on, I'll move over. We've got another intrepid photographer making his way up the hill to get the photo. But we are looking down the glen towards Loch Maree, and we couldn't ask for better weather for this photograph, could you?
The weather, the clouds. That are just moving over the valley and just causing the lights and shadows. It's to die for. It really is.
It is, isn't it? And with your camera, we don't talk tech on the show, but it's a Fujifilm X-T5, which is the big sensor, isn't it?
Yeah.
I know I should know the megapixels, in that my other podcast is called the Fujicast, but there we go, don't tell anybody. Tech gives me nosebleeds, as you well know. But your sensor, your camera, and I know you're a good photographer behind the camera as well. When you've been taking pictures of the mountains all layered, it's really the rendition of what you've brought back to us this week is beautiful, and I think your camera's going to eat this, and you're going to eat this.
I hope so. As I say, it surprised me so far. It's the first time. Well, I've not. Yeah, you see vistas, but this one takes the biscuit. So yeah, hopefully what we're seeing comes out as nice in the images. Definitely.
Yeah.
So you've got the scales greys, and the head, got the heather changing colour, the ferns going brown there, just wonderful colours.
Ansel Adams might well have photographed some nice views, but he never photographed this.
No, that's true. Yeah, that's true. You never know.
Yeah, beautiful.
Wonderful, absolutely.
By the edge of Loch Maree, Michael is sort of weighing up the opportunity to swim in the loch. The Speedos might remain in the car.
Yeah, there will be no swimming today.
Was it cold? Was it really chilly? I bet it was.
It's cold. It feels good on the hands for 3 seconds.
But you live next to Lake Como. If you do, surely you go swimming in the lake.
Yes, but Lake Como is substantially warmer than this.
What have you made of the week? Have you enjoyed yourself?
It's been a great week, yeah. I'm sorry for it to come to an end.
We've had a lot of fun, haven't we?
Yeah. And so, all the trips we've taken have been to really different places.
Yeah.
Similar, but each unique and different.
Michael's found a love for Scottish potatoes.
Yes, I have.
Cooked different ways.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that'll be one of the memories. I'm not sure it should be the memory from coming to Scotland, but this is a rather remarkable place. Can you see the water coming down, waterfall cascading down the side of that mountain there?
Yep. And I'm quick snapping a photo while the sun is shining.
I think
it's really glowing off these rocks here.
Yeah. Oh, look, the sun's just hitting that bit.
Yeah.
I feel I'm stopping you photographing, so you should continue.
I can talk and snap at the same time.
Michael has been, I think he will take the award for most prolific photographer at the Scottish Retreat this year, because usually after about half an hour you hear Michael approaching from behind you saying, I've shot 300 already.
Well,
I'm running out of batteries.
My philosophy is take 150 shots and maybe 10 or 15 will be keepers.
Oh, no. Yeah. Well, look, the sun's hitting that, so
it sure is.
Photograph. I'm going to, that's for sure. But I'm joining you in the... every year we say we might go swimming. Next year in June, perhaps. But I sense I will still be stood here in June saying, no, not this year. June next year. June next year when it's tad warmer. But actually, we've been blessed with sunshine this week as well. There's been moments where it's been T-shirt weather. We've had all the seasons this week, that's for sure. Oh, I found the team's resident geologist. What do you think, Vicky? I know you've been here with us before to Loch Maree, so I know this is not necessarily a new scene to you, but I love it every single time I see it. Yeah.
And you've just got this beautiful lake view and then loch view, and then these. I'm pretty sure they're quartzite mountains behind as a backdrop.
Quartzite.
Quartzite. You can see it's very pale rock.
Right.
All along the shore.
So you picked up a stone. That's a quartzite. Stone.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Sure. I have to go. And in the distance, though, it looks that sort of greyish tinge. But when the sun comes out, it picks it up and it sort of lights it up.
It does.
And then there's this most magnificent tumble of water coming over the quartzite cliffs, but further along.
I don't think we've seen the waterfalls like that in recent years, have we? I don't recall looking across the view and seeing waterfalls cascading out the sides of these mountains here.
No, I have to say, I don't know whether that's because my head was down looking at the most fascinating root structures of the trees along here.
Yeah.
I hadn't looked up and just looked across, but it's quite magnificent.
I want to be over there, but it involves a fair amount of swimming.
Well, I did look and think, can I see a path? Because sometimes you can just see little traces up the hillside, temptingly.
I think if you want to go up that hillside, mountainside, I think you have to be a bit more mountain goat-like.
I think you do. Yeah.
That's a challenge. That one. Have you had a good week?
I've had a wonderful week exploring, experimenting.
Yeah.
But this is what I really enjoy about this retreat is we do all sorts of different both types of photography, ways of doing photography. What a treat Lynn has in and around her doorstep.
I know.
Whether it's beautiful old towns like Cromarty that we were in a couple of days ago, to the beautiful forests of Glen Affric, to the loch we are now. Yeah, in the Benaig.
I wonder if she ever takes it for granted. Is she behind us? You're looking like she might be actually.
She is. I think she's looking at a different waterfall, a smaller one.
A smaller waterfall. But I wonder, it's a bit like you live in London, for example, but I bet you don't go out and investigate it as much as you're looking at me as if you're saying, well, I do actually, as it happens.
Well, I think that's the fun bit for me is going down streets you've not been down before.
So you do explore London?
I do explore.
Okay.
I do try to explore London. I particularly like street art, and it's appearing all the time in and around London. It's one of those things where you're photographing something of a moment because someone will come along and
yes. Yeah. Well, have you been to Brick Lane of late?
I haven't this year, but I did last year.
So I didn't know the concept of what did they call it? Was it moving art? Oh, I've got the words wrong now. But in essence, it's the art changes, constantly moving on, because once you've put something on the wall, somebody else comes along and puts another sticker up or a stencil or a paint, and rather than people being all hufty about it, it's just accepted that part of London, that part of Brick Lane is a movable art feast, which I like.
Yeah. And I come into Waterloo on the train, if I'm getting the train into work, and it's got the Leek Street Arches there, which is a street art player. Yeah, exactly. That is changing all the time.
Well, there's no graffiti here.
Should we go and ask Lynn whether she takes...
Yeah, that's a good idea. That's a very good idea. Lynn, we are approaching you en masse. Well, myself and Vicky. Do you take this for granted? That was what we were going to ask, wasn't it? Maybe not.
So we were talking about whether I take London for granted.
Yeah, that's right.
And whether I go exploring or not.
And I suggested that Vicky did, and actually that's the last thing she does.
Do you know what? It is a question that I do think about sometimes, but I think my answer is no. Because I do get out and explore with the camera. And there are many times when I'm still blown away by a scene in front of me, and it can be something that I've seen before, but the weather changes everything. Each time you come out, it looks different. I was just actually thinking of how this is the fourth year that we've come here with the group.
Yeah.
And each time we've come, we've had different conditions, and yet the landscape is very much still the same, and probably the only thing that's changed within it noticeably is ourselves. A few more wrinkles each, Neil.
How dare you? You go off some people. I'm moving away. You're not my friend anymore. Loch Maree is a wonderful place. It's so magical, it really is. I sound a bit out of breath because I've gone the other side. Now, all the times I've come to Loch Maree, I've never walked behind where we park up. We look onto the beautiful loch, but behind there's a woodland and also a walk that takes you up the mountain, and it is a mountain behind us, and I've elected to try and get a little bit further up the mountain, but it's a 4-mile walk, and I didn't realise that, and I've left it probably a bit late to get to the very tippity top. But if I stride out, which I'm doing into the wind, then I should be able to get a fairly good distance up before I have to head back toward the car for our meeting time. so I can get a picture of the loch from a bit further up, if that makes sense. Whew. There's some beautiful trees here. Ah, look at that. What, Neil? I can't see it. Yes, you can. Look a bit more. Fantastic. I need to find a place from which to photograph this. 1/25 f7.1 and 800 ISO. There we go. And the trees are just lit up by a sliver of light, and there's clouds across the mountain. Just in dappled parts. Whew. Come on, come with me. Bit further to go. Lynn has said, otherwise I'd have done it. It's a long way up. It's a steep way up. One of our clan has done it. Keith he's up there at the moment. So that mountain, that must be I tell you what I'll do. I'll share, so you don't have to walk it. I'll share Keith's picture, which I've just seen that he's put into the group WhatsApp. It's beautiful. What a view you get. Next time, what?
Dragon rider going across the hillside there. Look at that.
Oh, quick, photos. Come on, you've got the better lens of me. I assume by dragon rider, which I'm not really going to show brilliantly with my focal length. Just below those puffy clouds, that's the shadow of a cloud, and it looks like a rider on a dragon.
It does, doesn't it?
You said it like that happens often.
Well, I see things like that quite often. You've been laughing at me for the last 2 weeks at the things that I've seen in the trees and the stones and the clouds. But
I've started seeing the faces in the trees, by the way.
Good.
There's a name, isn't there, for it?
Yeah, pareidolia.
Right.
So
that means you see things in trees like faces. Is it specifically faces?
I think so, or geometric shapes. I think it's human nature to try and make something that we understand out of something that we don't.
Yeah. These trees I love.
They're beautiful, aren't they?
And it does feel, it's a bit out of Africa, actually, when you look at the shape of the trees and this sort of tabletop they have on some of them.
Yeah, well, these are Scots pines, so they're the native tree to Scotland. And the shapes that we're seeing are due to the weather, the high winds, the rain, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
So the lovely sort of bent over ones, that's the prevailing wind leading them over.
If I had a really long lens now, what's that white one right in the middle?
A dead one.
Is that a Scots pine?
I think it would have been a Scots pine, yeah, but it's looking very bleached.
Our friend Mally would get very excited about that one right in the middle of all that greenery, wouldn't he?
Yes, well, I brought Mally up here last year and he did get very excited all the way up the path.
Did you go all the way to the top of the mountain?
No, we stopped at the bottom of the really steep bit and turned around and came back down.
Oh.
He's not very good with heights and I didn't want to have to shove him all the way up.
I wouldn't want to do that either. It's beautiful.
It's absolutely gorgeous.
Next June, we return to Scotland. Well, you're here all the time. You get the benefit of living in this beautiful part of the world in the Highlands. And but next year, because we'll be in Mongolia, probably at this time next year, won't we, roughly?
Yes, we will.
Yeah?
Yeah, coming towards the end of the trip, I think.
We don't talk about the end of the trip before we've even started.
No, we'll be enjoying the Eagle Festival.
Yes, lovely.
Yep.
But we're coming back in June to the Highlands next year. And although we've got bits of it still to piece together in terms of what we'll be doing, one thing we will be doing, this seems a good opportunity to talk to you about it, is photogravure. It's only taken me a month to get that word right. Up to this moment, I've been pronouncing it as if it's a Swiss cheese. What is photogravure and how does it fit into our week, possibly weeks, in the Highlands in June?
It's I don't know if I suppose you could call it an alternative photographic process. It's very tactile, very cathartic, and that's why I think it will very much fit into what we're trying to do here on the retreat. So you start off with your digital image, whether it's a photograph you've taken or a scan of a negative or a scan of a drawing that you've done. We make a transparency and then we'll take that transparency and expose it onto a treated plate, which we then ink up.
Ink up?
Yes, we use ink It's quite similar to an etching process. So
the plate by now has the texture on it?
Yes.
So this is like I suppose it's not, but it's like a brass rubbing kind of thing?
Well, yeah, I suppose it might look like that. The process that you use for exposing it, you expose it through a stippled mat first, which gives the plate some texture, and then you put your image on top of that.
Yeah.
And depending where your image is light and dark, you'll get different sizes of almost dimples and peaks and troughs on your plate. And then those will hold different amounts of ink.
Wow.
So you ink it up with your black ink and a small, what I would call a squeegee. It's a little hard bit of sort of rubbery plastic. And then you scrim off the ink with a cloth that looks a bit like muslin. And the more ink you take off, the more you expose of the plate. So you've got a lot of control over how your image turns out in the end, a bit like dodging and burning, really. And a lot of it's done through feel. So obviously the more practice you have, the more consistent you become in the application and removal of the ink. So your images look the same as you produce them.
Is it quite a physical process? It sounds like you're sort of dragging the inks across.
Yes, it is. I mean, obviously you're standing, but you're dragging the ink across the plate and then you're scrimming it off. So there's a lot of use of the arm. And of course you've soaked your paper because you use damp paper to make your print. And you put the paper on top of your plate and it goes through a heavy roller. Now I can't remember how much the weight is.
He showed us that roller. What was it? Something like
2 tons?
A couple of tons, I think.
Something like that. So you're moving those rollers. So you've got a very big wheel that you stand and turn with a very slow motion.
And you see it come out the other side with your...
Yeah, the table slides under the weight and it comes out the other side. Then you lift the blanket and then you peel the paper off the plate and ta-da, there's your beautiful print.
So it's a physical process, but it's also a very cathartic process. And it's unlike anything... Well, when we went to the studio and saw how it was done, well, you've seen it through the whole process. I've seen elements and bits of it. It's unlike any kind of printing I've ever seen, and you'll end up with something that is... We often talk about art prints, etc., which is what we aim for when we're in the darkroom. But this is, from what I've seen, it's absolute art.
It is, and each print is very individual because obviously the amount of ink you're putting on and taking off is going to vary from print to print, even though you do try and make them consistent. There are always slight differences, and also the different types of paper that you use, whether it's a bright white paper or maybe a cream-based paper or a grey paper, they all add different qualities to the print that you're making.
Yes, you can use different papers, can't you? Yeah. I think the plate that you're left with, I know what I would do. I would stick the plate. I'm thinking of it like a diptych. I'd actually put on one side. Somebody coming past. On one side, I'd put perhaps the print, and on the other side, the plate, because they're the same size, obviously.
No.
Aren't they?
No, because your bit of paper's bigger than your plate.
No, but the plate's the same size as the image.
Yes. So your plate is the same size as the image, but obviously you're starting off with quite a big bit of paper.
Oh, right, yeah.
And because the paper's damp, when you dry it, you have to stretch dry it, so you tape it onto a board and you have to leave it for a week or so to dry out properly. As it shrinks, it keeps it flat, and then you have to tear off round your print, tear the tape off, but you're still left with this lovely print with a nice border around it.
My diptych idea is not working, is it?
Well, I think it would work if you float mounted your plate next to your print. I think it would look quite nice.
Oh, there we go. I knew there was something in there. Right, it's a beautiful view. Are we going down the mountain or are we going up a little bit further?
Should we go up a little bit further?
Yep. Come on, let's go all the way.
We'll have to run.
Here we go, we'll run.
Well, if Scotland 26 sounds like an adventure you'd like to make with Lynn, me, and 4 or 5 other photo walkers, as couples with a camera are welcome too, enjoying the views, the sounds, the workshops, the printing, the poetry, the time together, and with the food. Oh, we've hardly mentioned the food. The food. The evenings spent revisiting our walks with pictures and a laugh. Then go to the website, as there'll be a form on the Scotland 26 tab waiting for you. There are some new features for 26, as you've heard, so if you're a returning guest, even some of our familiar moments will have a sense of discovery for you. We'll play out of this week's show in a moment with our play-out song, but I'm pausing just for a moment with our Keith, looking down upon my favourite view of Scotland, Loch Maree, my place of peace, I think, in the Highlands. And as we make some pictures together, we remember too somebody important in Keith's life. Will feature soon, actually, in a reflection piece he wrote, following what he'd found during our time together, that he can write. Really write. It's a song called Breathe by Gabriella Francis that plays us out today. Thank you to all those who joined the show in Scotland this year. I can't quite believe that that's it for another, well, not quite year actually. Scotland? I shall be crossing into your arms again sooner than soon, as my nan used to say.
I've done another picture.
Yeah. How many pictures have you taken today?
A fair few, isn't it?
On the first week of the photo retreat, Michael was here and he was shooting about 300 every hour.
I'm not that bad, no. I've been...
he was prolific.
A little bit more reserved today, yeah.
Now, we never got to the top.
I did.
You did. And we were kind of saved by the appearance of you coming down. Part of me was, I wanted to get to the top. And part of me was, we have to turn around now because...
I saw that big sigh of relief coming from you.
Written across my face.
Yeah.
I would have gone up there.
I'm sure, yeah.
I know you have to scrabble in places.
Easy's going up's easy. Coming down's the tricky bit.
Yeah,
it was certainly.
I almost took a tumble over there just a moment ago, going over those
over
trees.
That twig.
Over that twig.
Most it were a twig.
Get you, twig. What a view! And you were up the top, looking down at the loch.
Well, once you get so far up, you can't see the loch because you're that far back.
Okay.
So yes, you get so far up. Once you get kind of above the tree line, you're away from the view of the loch. But there is a nice
cafe.
I called it a tarn or a dam at the top.
What's it, Lynn? Lochen.
A lochen.
Yeah, you got me thinking tarn now. It's a lochen.
Very nice lochen.
Yeah. It's look. I don't want to get all woo-woo now, but I'm going to use the words. It's quite a spiritual view.
It is.
Isn't it?
There's not many places you see anything like this, that's for certain.
Yeah. Did you have a moment?
Not really. No. Just pushed on. There were voices in my head what I know Denise would be saying to me. You're crazy doing this.
Yeah, probably.
She would have done.
Would Denise have gone with you? Would she?
No, that'd have been too much.
I'll see you down in the car. Yeah. I'll be at the Midge. What's it called? The Midge Cafe.
Midge Cafe.
We keep having to. The Midge Bite. It's like having people off camera, isn't it? Shout into the crew.
Prompt.
Yeah. Would you have loved this place?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So would have come to maybe a distance like this, but once you get past the tree line up there, it'd have been too difficult.
Yeah. Do you talk to her when you're at the top of these places?
Always talking to her.
Do you?
Yeah.
I think of this as a bit like Out of Africa. Every time I say it to Lynn, she looks at me like I've been chewing the mushrooms.
Well, I've seen you sniffing them.
No, I've not been sniffing them. You lot. No, but look at it. Don't you think? I know that the wind forms the shape. But...
Yeah. So, I've never been to Africa, so.
Well, welcome to Africa.
Welcome to Africa.
It is beautiful. Just two blokes sitting here saying, "What a beautiful view! Could you move on, please, Neil?" But really, if you were sat here with me and Keith right now, and the crew just off, then you'd be saying the same thing as well. You really would.
Couldn't ask for a better day either. No.
Oh, I've been very lucky.
Yeah.
Don't say that too loudly, because in the first week we had slightly different weather.
Right.
We saw a different scene, and we still saw this place, and it's still magical.
Yeah.
But you see it in a slightly different sense.
Well, even within walking up the hill.
Yeah.
And then coming back down with the light, it's changing all the time.
Yeah. I tell you who else would like this, my friend Giles. He would do extreme tea. He'd bring the cups, the saucers, everything. He'd be up there doing extreme tea.
The teacups would blow off the saucers.
Would they? Oh, it was quite windy up there.
Oh, yeah, very windy, yeah. I was taking some pictures and had to be push my lens cap against a rock to stop the camera moving around.
He'd be proper grumpy, actually.
Where's my bloody cups? I've gone off the mountain.
He'd send you and I after them.
Keith, go and get my cups.
Sorry, Giles.
No.
I wish Giles were here. He'd love this place.
Yeah.
He really would. Right, I'm bringing him next year. That's it. We'll do Extreme Tea, Giles, up the top of a mountain with Keith.
With his Leicas.
Well, your Leicas?
No, his Leicas.
Oh, his Leicas. No, I
cool.
think he's doing a plate camera. He'd bring a proper old-fashioned plate camera.
Hugging that all the way up there.
Yeah.
Who's carrying the plates?
Well, no, he could carry it all himself. He'd carry the plates, he'd carry the camera, he'd got his Extreme Tea. You and I would pop up with our Fujis, running up that hill. Cue the song.
I was going to say, there's a song there.
Right, should we run down the hill?
Yeah.
Kate Bush didn't do that song. Oh, I've got a damp bum. Oh, nobody told me the seat was wet. Oh, could have told me. Honestly, Keith. I blame Keith.
You have to get that one.
I'm going to get a T-shirt. I blame Keith. I'm telling you, it's going to sell. There's money in that T-shirt.
September comes, summer is gone. Do you think of me when you're trying to sleep? I'll admit you're getting pretty hard to miss. How did it end like this? But while there's stars above you, I'll be here to love you, if you know what I mean. All of our dreams scattered here like fallen leaves, till I can't breathe. All of our dreams scattered here like fallen leaves, till I can't breathe. All of our dreams scattered here like fallen leaves, till I can't breathe. All of our dreams scattered here like fallen leaves, till I can't breathe.
The Photowalk is a Loading Zone production.